May 2nd, the night before the exam. A father running a student hostel in the city of Sikar receives a WhatsApp attachment. It contains 300 questions. The message tells him to distribute the file to the students staying in his building. The next morning, over 2.2 million students sat down to take NEET. This one-day sitting determines the career path for every medical hopeful in the country. For the millions competing, there is no other way to enter a government medical college. But after the exam finished, that father in Sikar took his printed WhatsApp file to a local coaching teacher. He wanted to cross-reference the questions he'd handed out against the official test paper the students had just taken. They found a match that defied coincidence. 135 out of 180 questions were identical to the leaked file. The sequence was exact, matching every comma and full stop from the official biology and chemistry sections. When the father took this evidence to the local police station to report the match, the officers brushed him off. They told him to stop spreading rumors and sent him away. But the perfect alignment of text and punctuation proved that this wasn't a coaching center's lucky guess. The official, supposedly secure testing system had been compromised at the source. To find the source, investigators tracked the digital trail backward to an authorized high-security printing press in Nasik, Maharashtra. The operatives inside the press bypassed standard mobile phone cameras, which are easy to track and leave behind digital metadata. Instead, they chose to use high-definition portable scanners to pull the raw text directly from the printed pages. This schematic shows how they moved the data. The thieves built a custom shadow server located outside the city. By routing the scanned packets through this independent node, they avoided the institutional firewalls designed to monitor the press's internal network. The stolen file was then moved to Gurgaon, where it was laundered. A local doctor bought the raw data for 1.5 million rupees, but he didn't sell it as a perfect copy. He took 120 of the real questions and mixed them with 290 unrelated ones, creating a bloated guess paper that wouldn't immediately trigger an investigation. This laundering process allowed the syndicate to operate in the open. They took a perfect leak and disguised it as standard coaching material to keep the real source hidden. On April 26th, over a week before the exam, the wholesale distribution began. Two brothers in Rajasthan, Mangi Lal and Dinesh Biwal, purchased the laundered paper from the Gurgaon doctor for 3 million rupees. The Biwal brothers are well connected. Dinesh is a district secretary in the ruling party's youth wing and has been photographed with the state's education minister. This connection becomes even more relevant when you consider that 4 children from their family cleared NEET in a single year. By April 29th, the retail phase was in full swing. Local agents in Sikar were buying the file for 500,000 rupees and distributing it to over 700 individual students. When state investigators eventually seized the students' phones, they found a digital footprint that proved the scale of the distribution. Above the exam documents was the specific WhatsApp label, forwarded many times. The timeline reveals that the leak was moving through these networks as early as April. While the authorities maintained that the system was secure, a multi-million rupee criminal supply chain had been operating on public messaging apps for weeks. Despite the evidence found in Sikar, the National Testing Agency officially denied a nationwide leak. The NTA leadership dismissed the circulating files, arguing that because the PDFs contained extra questions, they weren't technically leaks of the actual paper. When asked for specifics on the investigation, government officials dodged reporters' questions. The education minister left press briefings without addressing the evidence of the organized syndicate. While the CBI has since made minor arrests, no administrative staff have been held accountable. The NTA has not been reorganized, and the internal protocols that allowed a shadow server to be used at a printing press remain unchanged. The cost of this administrative failure is being paid by the 2.2 million legitimate students. These applicants, many of whom have spent years in intense preparation, are now forced to navigate the psychological strain of a mandatory retest. Years of sacrifice and family savings were effectively bypassed by a network of operatives who used a 3 million rupee bribe to exploit the system's vulnerabilities. The reality is that tethering your entire future to a single, centralized exam is a dangerous gamble. When the security of that exam can be breached weeks in advance, the risk to your career is absolute. To protect yourself, you have to move beyond the idea that there are only two paths to success. Focus on acquiring skills that aren't dependent on a government testing center's ability to secure its paperwork. That's why I created the 100 Careers PDF guide. It maps out entry paths for high-growth fields like sustainability and data science, industries that prioritize your actual capability over a single test score. You can find the download link in the description. Build your own backup plan so that no matter what happens with the next national exam, your future isn't left hanging on a leaked WhatsApp file.